I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. I'm holding a Result new bow from Elite in my hand, and I want to show you some of the stuff we deal with in an archery shop, and this is a broken limb. Now I'm going to say before I even start this video that Elite make the most dependable limbs, I'm going to say probably in the industry, so let's just start there. So in all my time of selling Elites, which is probably now 3 years I'm guessing, I have never had an Elite limb break. Okay, so I sent this bow out the other day to a customer and rings up and says the limb's broken. So he then sends the bow back to me. So the bow's brand new. He sends the bow back to me with this broken limb. And I want to show you the limb and I want to explain a little bit about this, right? So this is the bow. So the limb looks good, right? And you first off you think, well, why is the limb broken? Because Elite don't put a lot of tension on their limbs. You can see these limbs are almost, there's hardly any tension. Now these are the same limbs used by all bow companies these days. These are your Gordon glass limb, virtually indestructible, not under much tension. So I'm thinking, well, how could you break this limb? How could it be broken when you haven't even shot the bow yet? So the first thing that I look at when I see the bow is there's a D-loop fitted to this bow, right? So you can see the D-loop, he's tied it on. Now you can see he's tied on a peep sight. You can see the peep sight is perfectly aligned. And you think, okay, so he's fitted a peep sight, he's fitted a D-loop. Now you look where the arrow rest is. So you'll see here little marks where the arrow rest was fitted to the bow. So he's fitted the D-loop, peep sight, and an arrow rest to the bow. Now, he claims this bow's never been shot, okay? So it's like, but the limb broke. So where's the limb break? Now, there's the limb break right there. You can see it. I'm going to try and zoom in so you can see it a little bit more. Now, I'm going to zoom right in, right there. Now, is this a warranty? So this customer sent it back. Now he sent it back overnight express and charged me for it. So I think he charged me. I'm going to get it wrong because I'm like totally flat out at the moment. So I haven't actually dealt with this customer yet. And I haven't dealt with this. But I want to do a video to show you the sort of stuff we deal with in archery shops and then the manufacturers deals with. Now, 100% certain this is not a warranty claim. Okay, I'm going to say that straight up because this is an impact. This limb has been impacted on the side, so something has hit it. Okay, so there is no way did this customer get this bow and the bow magically, this limb magically failed. Not possible. Okay, and you're going to say, well, how do you know this stuff, Stephen? Well, I've been selling archery gear for 30 years, and these are fiberglass bits of thing here. And the only way you can damage the limb there is through impact. You can see where it's impacted the limb. That impact has caused this fiber to split down the side here. Now it's taken a huge impact. Now the next thing I'm going to look at was, has he changed the draw length on this bow? Now you can see here on the cam, just here, you can see the marks just there where this module used to be. So you can see the marks just there. So he's actually changed the draw length on this bow. So let's just go there. He's actually changed the draw length on the bow and he hasn't noticed this mark on the limb, the impact. Like, really? Okay, fair enough. You haven't, so you fitted an arrow rest, you fitted a peep sight, and you've managed to get this peep sight magically straight, and you haven't noticed this impact on the limb. Okay. Then I think, well, how did you do this? How did you, like, because you're not going to get this through just dropping it. Was it in a bow press and the bow, did it fall out of the bow press to create this impact? Now, if there's normally a bow press, now some things can happen when you're on a draw board. So if you're on a draw board and something happens, you can get marks on the bow, but I can't see any other marks. But what I noticed with this bow is just there, and I don't know if it's showing up enough, just there, and let's try and zoom up so you can see it better. Just there, where my finger is, you can see the mark. Now this cam has been scratched. So there's been something in this cam to cause it to be scratched. And what he's done is hit it with black texture over the top so he doesn't actually see the scratch. So I don't see the scratch, but I obviously see the scratch because I'm looking to see what caused this mark. So what happened? Now, have you seen the videos where people stick screwdrivers in their bows and then let them down and then move their peep sights to get their peep sights aligned? If you have, never ever do that, because when it fails and something goes wrong, you'll get an impact which looks like this on your limbs. Guarantee it, 100%, never ever do that, okay? Now, the other thing I was thinking was it could be like a portable bow press which clamps on here and it slipped off, but the impact is actually on the side here. It's actually pushed up against it. So what I'm thinking happened was he put something in the cam when he's been adjusting his peep sight, because that peep sight's perfectly in line, which is almost impossible to do. Like if you've ever fitted a peep sight in a bow, to get that height correct, to get the alignment correct, almost impossible to do. And yet he's managed it, so therefore he's twisted this string to get that in. And I'm saying when he's actually twisted the string, something's gone wrong and it's bumped the limb. Now when you stuff up, and we all make mistakes, if you own it and you say, look, I made a mistake, can you help me? Most manufacturers are going to be pretty good and most shops are going to be pretty good with it. Some may not be, and that's, you know, up to the shop. But when you send back a bow and charge the person $80 to send the bow back and claim it was sent like that to you, and I know it wasn't, I know you didn't get it like that because you've done all this work to the bow without that, then the shop's going to get a bit peed off at you. So anyway, so that's my thing, and we get this all the time in archery shops. So if you own an archery shop, you're going to get things like this. People blow up their bows. Now, out of all the warranties I do, and I'm probably doing one warranty a day, I'm going to say 95%, let's go 99% of my warranties are to customers who do not walk into my store. They are people who purchase stuff over the internet, who work on the bows themselves. So another brand of bow I've got a shop who's broken 3 of those limbs. Now I have sold heaps of those bows and I haven't broken any limbs, and I haven't had anyone else break any. So I don't know what's happening in that shop, but something's happening in that shop. So just bear that in mind. When things break, there's generally a reason for it, and to be careful. Like when you're going to work on a bow, make sure you wind the bow down before you work on it. And just be careful when you do stuff, and don't ever stick anything in the cam at full length, at full draw. So that's what I think's happened. Leave your notes below what you think caused this here. If you think it's reasonable that this customer basically didn't see that big crack in his limb when he got the bow. Now I don't know what Elite's going to do yet. I've sent an email to the salesperson from Elite. I'm hoping Elite will send me a new limb, and then I'll sell this bow as like a demo discounted model. That's what I hope happens. Otherwise I'm going to be up for a set of new limbs for Elite, which I think are about $400. And I have 4 limbs, in which case you'd then have 3 spares. So I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and before you work on your bow, it's always a huge worry for me when people go, no, I can do that myself. I can fit a peep sight, I can twist the peep sight myself. I'm like, how can you do that? Like, unless you have the tools, it's pretty hard to do. Always a huge red flag for me, and generally, and I haven't checked yet, and I will check, generally it's when I have these sorts of problems, they're people who are not customers of mine. And when I say not customers, not people who buy regularly from me. Most of my customers are regular people who have been buying from me for about 10 years. When I see stuff like this, it's generally first time customers. So I'm going to go and check now if he's a first time customer or not. So, but it's just so annoying. So if you own an archery shop, drop a message below, because I'm sure you're going to see heaps of this sort of stuff in your shop where people dry fire the bow and go, oh look, the cam's just magically bent. No, they don't magically bend. Cams don't magically twist. They generally get dry fired or derailed, and that causes the bends in the cams. So I'm going to say 99% of my warranties are dry fires, derails, which are completely avoidable. And also the third thing that causes most of the warranties is bow pressing the bows. So they're pressed to an extent beyond which they should be pressed. So people working on the bows, they press them and the bows fall apart in the press. So just be very, very careful with that stuff. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Enjoy your archery, and leave a message below of what you think happened to this Elite. Thanks for watching. Bye.